Assalamu alaikum. My name is Abdul Rahman and I am first year medical student in OSH. Today I am going to explain the eyeball, its muscles and the movement of the eyeball muscles. Here we can show the eyeball, and if we talk about the weight of eyeball, it is about 28 gram weight of the eyeball. And there are about 6 extraocular muscles of the eyeball. There are superior rectus muscle, inferior rectus muscle, medial rectus muscle and lateral rectus muscle. And all these extraocular muscles are tied to the tendinous ring which covers the optic nerve. This ring is called the annulus of ring and fibrous ring. And here we can show the optic nerve, which is a pure sensory nerve which supplies sensory innervation to the eyeball. And if we talk about the motor innervation which supply to the which carries the motor information for eyeball is the third cranial nerve, which is a mixed cranial nerve, not a pure motor nerve. And movement of eyeball, superior rectus muscle. Superior rectus muscle is helpful in the upward movement of the eye. And if we talk about the inferior rectus muscle, which is helpful in the downward movement of the eyeball. And if we look toward the right side, and the abduction of the right eye is due to the right rectus muscle.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Talha Arshad. I am first year student in medical student in OSH, and this is my project about structure of heart. Heart consists of 4 chambers: right atrium, right ventricle, left atrium, left ventricle. There is bicuspid wall in a left chamber, and tricuspid wall is a right chamber. Left chamber contains oxygenated blood, and right consists of deoxygenated blood. And this is a inferior vena cava, and this is superior vena cava. This is a thoracic or descending aorta. This is left pulmonary veins. This is right pulmonary veins. This is pulmonary artery. This is a right pulmonary artery. This is a left pulmonary artery. This is a arch of aorta, and there is a right brachiocephalic trunk. There is a right common carotid artery and right subclavian artery. And there is a left subclavian artery. And
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Mariam Rafiq. I am first year medical student studying in OSH, and I have made this model to show the flow of CSF to the ventricles of brain. You can see that these are the sulci and gyri of brain. I have made here that these are gyri, and these are the folded part of the cerebral cortex, and these are sulci which are separating two gyrus from each other. This is cerebellum and this is spinal cord. And when we talk about the CSF, then CSF is a modified tissue fluid, and it is contained in the ventricular system of brain and spinal cord. And CSF passes from the lateral ventricles towards the third ventricle via foramen Monro, and from the third ventricle towards the fourth ventricle via duct of Salius, and from the fourth ventricle it passes towards the cisterna pontis and cisterna magna via the lateral foramen of Luschka and median foramen of Magendie. And it is absorbed in the subarachnoid granulations and villi, and is drained in the cranial venous sinuses.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Hafiz Amir Hamza. Today I am going to represent the structure and functions of the eyes. First of all, we have number 1 iris, number 2 pupil, number 3 sclera, number 4 rectus muscles, number 5 circle of Zinn, and number 6 lacrimal glands. Now I am going to tell you about the functions of these structures. First of all, iris. Through the iris, the light can enter the eye. The amount of light enter the eye through the iris. Number 2, we have pupil. Pupil is an opening from which the light can enter the eye. It is a black dot, Number 3, we have sclera. Sclera is a white ball-like shape. It is fibrous. It maintains the shape of the eye. Number 4, we have rectus muscles. Rectus muscle basically provide the sports and movements of the eye, upward movements and downward movements. Number 5, we have circle of Zinn. It is also known as a papillary artery. It provides a blood supply to the nerve, to the optic nerve. And last one, we have lacrimal gland. Lacrimal gland produces the tears in the eye. On the surface of the eye, it is a watery fluid, and that's also known as tears. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Sabtamir. I am first year medical student in OST. This is my project about the heart.
Today I will tell you some informations about the heart. First of all, I want to tell you about the size of the heart. The size of the heart is about our fist. In length and the width. The length is 12 centimeter and width is 9 centimeter. And now I will tell you about the weight of the heart. In male, it is about 250 grams, and in females it is about 300 grams. The left side of the heart contains oxygenated blood and the right side of the heart contains deoxygenated blood. Now I will tell you about some parts of the heart. These are common carotid arteries. These two are common carotid arteries. Right common carotid artery and left common carotid artery. This you see if you zoom it, that this is the right subclavian artery, and below that this is superior vena cava. And this is arc of aorta. These are 4 lobes of the heart. These are atrium and these are ventricles. Right atrium and left atrium. This is right ventricle and the left ventricle. These are the pulmonary arteries. You see that these are left pulmonary vein and right pulmonary vein. And these are pulmonary arteries. These are right pulmonary arteries and left pulmonary arteries. This is thoracic aorta. You see that? And in last, I will tell you about the heart secretes 3 types of hormones: ANP, BNP, and CNP. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Abdul Wasim Mansoor, and I am the first year medical student of Osh International Medical University. Today I am going to explain a little bit about brachial plexus. Brachial plexus is a network of nerves that carries movements and signals from the spinal cord to the arm and shoulders. Brachial plexus injuries mainly exist from the trauma to the neck and causes pain, weakness, numbness in the arms and hands. So mainly it starts from the neck, passes through the axilla and runs through the entire upper extremity. As you can see, that superior trunculum, when we talk about the superior trunculum at the level of C5 and C6, then we can say that it is called Earl's palsy. There are many other palsies at different points, like Saturday night palsy, concave palsy, and when we talk about the median nerve and ulnar nerve, we have also liens here. Median nerve at the level of C5 and T1, ulnar nerve at the level of C8 and T1. We have proximal lien and distal ears. We can say that in the proximal ear we have Pope's blessing, and distal lien at rest we have median claw. Same here, ulnar nerve at the level of C8, T1. In distal ear we have ulnar claw.
Assalamu alaikum to everyone. I hope all you are doing well and fine. My name is Muhammad Amin.
And my name is Muhammad Noman.
We are the student of first year at Osh International Medical University. The topic today we are going to discuss about the ventricle of the brain. Now Mr. Noman tell you about the topography of the ventricle.
First of all, I tell you about the all yellow shaded areas are lamina terminalis and red shaded areas are spinal cord, and blue shaded areas are ventricle. There are 4 ventricles in our brain, 2 lateral ventricles and 3rd ventricle and 4th ventricle. 2 lateral ventricles present with the respective hemisphere of the cerebrum present in the telencephalon, and 3rd ventricle present in the diencephalon. The cerebral aqueduct present in the midbrain, upper dorsal to the pons and ventral to the cerebellum, and 4th ventricle present in the pons and upper part of the medulla oblongata. Now my friend Muhammad Amin tell you about the function of ventricle.
The ventricle of the brain are the network of cavities filled with the cerebral spinal fluid. The cerebral spinal fluid is produced in the choroid plexus, within the ventricle, but mostly the cerebral spinal fluid is produced in the lateral ventricle. Thank you so much for your precious time.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you all are fine. It's me, Muhammad Salman, and
Mr. Alirazar, students of Osh International Medical University.
so today we will discuss about the topic is neuron. Neuron topic is taken from the subject neurology. So what is neuron? Neuron is the structure and functioning unit of the central nervous system of human body.
And if we talk about the composition of the neuron, basically the neuron is consisting of the dendrites, cell body which is also called as soma, the nucleus, the axon, and also the myelin sheath or Schwann cells which are present on the axon. And also we have nodes of Ranvier, which is a gap between two nodes, between two myelin sheath. And the next thing we have axon terminal. Now what is the function of the neuron? Neuron basically receives a message through the dendrites and gives the message to the next neuron through the axon terminal.
Thanks for your question.
Assalamu alaikum. I hope you are all fine. First of all, I introduce myself. My name is Aftab Baloch, first year student from Osh International Medical University.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ali Taimur. I am a student of Osh International Medical University in first year MBBS student. Today we are here to introduce brain. This is cerebellum, this is limbic lobe, this is parietal lobe, this is frontal lobe, this is ventricle, this is corpus callosum, this is pituitary gland, this is brainstem. Brainstem also contain midbrain, pons and medulla. This is cerebellum. That's all.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, everyone. Hope you are fine. My name is Dr. Muhammad Shafi from International Medical University. Today our topic is a neuron. Neuron is the basis unit of brain. It's a specialized cell in transformation into the adult nerve cell, muscle and gland. It located in the central nervous system and size 4 to 100 micron in diameter. Neuron has eight part. Nucleus is the manager of cell, manage the repair of the cell and waste nutrient. And mitochondria, endoperitoneum, and axon which receive the message from some cells. And broader nerve present in the Maron sheet, and Maron sheet is the perfect the axon and increase the message. Thank you everyone. Our topic is
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Hassan.
And my name is Abdul Rahman.
We are first year medical student in OSH. Today we are going to represent the topic about the anatomy of the human brain.
Central nervous system consists of brain, spinal cord and brain stem. The weight of brain in human adult is 3 pounds and in children 3 quarters. Human 3/4 pound, and human brain consists of forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. Forebrain further consists of 4 lobes: frontal lobe, parietal lobe, occipital lobe and temporal lobe. Frontal lobe is anterior side, parietal lobe, occipital lobe is posterior side, and parietal lobe superior to temporal lobe, and temporal lobe inferior to parietal lobe. And midbrain consists of tectum, tegmentum, and crus cerebri. Spinal cord is located in spinal canal. Length of spinal cord is 40 to 50 centimeter long, and in children till L3 vertebra, and in adults L1 or L2. Now we discuss about brainstem. Brainstem consists of midbrain, pons, and medulla. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Abdul Rahman.
My name is Hassan Ali.
We are first year medical student in OSH, and now we discuss about blood supply of stomach and spleen.
The blood supply of the stomach is delivered by the left celiac trunk. The first blood supply of the celiac trunk is goes to the left gastric artery, which supply the blood to the stomach and lower part of the esophagus. Then the second blood supply is divided into the splenic artery, which give blood to the spleen. Then it is subdivided into the short gastric artery, which will supply the blood to the fundus of the stomach. Then the common hepatic artery gives blood to the liver. Then the right gastric artery, which gives blood supply to the lesser curvature of the stomach. Then the pancreatic duodenal artery, which gives blood supply.
My name is Muhammad Zishan. I am student of first year in OSH. And today we are discussing about heart. The size of heart is about human fist, and the weight in a male is 250 gram and in female 250 to 300 gram. So heart contains of 4 chambers: right atrium and left atrium, right ventricle and left ventricle. It has started from a ascending aorta, which gives a common carotid artery, then which gives blood supply to the head and neck, and then we have a descending aorta which give a blood supply to abdomen, pelvis and lower limb. That's it consists of veins called coronary arteries. Coronary arteries give a branches which called circumflex artery. It's a branch of left coronary artery, and then right coronary artery give a branch which is called interior interventricular artery. Then it is consists of a apex where we can feel our heartbeat and maximal impulses. Then we are discuss about pulmonary trunks. Heart, right side of heart get a deoxygenated blood and give through a pulmonary trunk and give to a lungs. Then it get a oxygenated blood from pulmonary veins and go to the right heart in right atrium. Then will go to right ventricle, and then blood will go through a ascending aorta and go about the head and neck, and it has subclavian artery which give blood supply to the upper limb. So that's its one branch is called artery which is called marginal artery. So that's about our heart. Thank you so much.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Nasir. I am a first year medical student in OSH. Today my topic is the human brain. Brain is protected by the skull and the meninges. The central nervous system consists of the brain and the spinal cord. The largest part of the brain is hemisphere. The two hemispheres is connected by the corpus callosum. Fornix is the main output from the hippocampus to the thalamus. Brain does not divided into further. Head brain is divided into the pons, medulla, and the cerebellum. Last of all, the spinal cord and the children lies into L2 and the upper border of the L3, and the adult spinal cord lies into L1.
Assalamu alaikum. In the name of Allah, who is most gracious and merciful. My name is Muawaz Abdul Wase. I am first year medical student of OSH. Today my topic of lecture is respiratory system. Respiratory system starts from trachea. Trachea is also known as windpipe. It is almost 4 cm in length. Trachea divided into left and right bronchus, and left and right bronchus subdivided into bronchioles. Bronchioles then attached with alveolar ducts. Alveolar ducts combined with each other and form alveoli. Alveoli is used for gaseous exchange. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Usnat Tariq and I am first year MBBS student in OSH. Today I am going to explain the parasympathetic innervation of whole body. Let's start with cranial nerve third, which is oculomotor nerve, and the origin of the oculomotor nerve is midbrain at the level of pediconiculus. It has a ciliary ganglion which innervates the ciliary muscle of eye. The next is cranial nerve 7, which is facial nerve. The origin of the facial nerve is pons, and it has pituitary-palatine ganglion and submandibular ganglion. The pituitary-palatine ganglion innervates the lacrimal gland, and the submandibular ganglion innervates the salivary glands. The next is ninth cranial nerve, which is glossopharyngeal nerve. The origin of the glossopharyngeal nerve is medulla oblongata. It has an otic ganglion which also supplies the salivary gland. The next is 10th cranial nerve, which is vagus nerve. The origin of the vagus nerve is medulla of the brainstem. It's innervate the heart, lung, liver, gallbladder, stomach, spleen, pancreas, large intestine, small intestine, and also rectum. And the next is pelvic nerve. The origin of the pelvic nerve is pelvic of the vertebra, which is sacral vertebra. It has 3 roots. The first root innervates the uterus and ovary, the female reproductive system, and the next is penis and scrotum, which is male reproductive system, and the next is bladder and kidney.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We both are the students of Osh International Medical University. I am Hamza Sarwar.
I am Zainul Abidin.
Today our topic is to structures of liver. Now my friend will tell about the structures of liver.
Let's start. Liver is the largest gland in human body. Its color is a dark reddish brown. Its weight is 1500 grams. It has two lobes, right lobe and left lobe. Its structure is cone-like structure. Its location: liver is located upper the right hand cavity beneath the diaphragm, top of the stomach, kidney and intestine. Now my friend Hamza Sarwar tell about the blood supply of liver.
Let's discuss about the blood supply of liver. Aorta derives from the left ventricle of the heart, and hepatic artery is basically the branch of abdominal aorta. Hepatic artery is divided into right hepatic artery and the left hepatic artery. The right hepatic artery gives blood supply to the right lobe of the liver, and the left hepatic artery will give blood supply to the left lobe of liver. This will give the up to 30% of blood supply to liver. Now the splenic vein, inferior mesenteric vein and the superior mesenteric veins makes the portal vein which supplies the blood to the liver. The blood reaches the hepatic sinusoids where the exchange of intoxicity of materials takes place, and now the blood will reach to the hepatic vein which will drain into the inferior vena cava which takes blood back to the heart.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Hamad Hussain and I am first year medical student at Osh International Medical University. I am going to discuss about the anatomy of the stomach. The stomach is a J-shaped organ which is located in the abdominal region and it is located between the esophagus and duodenum. The stomach has four main parts. The first part is cardia, which surrounds the superior opening of the stomach, and the second part is a fundus, which is gas-filled portion and superior and left to the cardia. The largest portion of the stomach is body, and the last portion is pyloric, which connects the stomach to the duodenum, and it is also called as antrum. The stomach has three muscles which make three layers of stomach. The first muscle is oblique muscle, second is circular muscle, and third is longitudinal muscle. These muscles helps in the churning of the food. The stomach also has foldings called as rugae, which expands the surface of the stomach when it is filled. The blood supply to the stomach is mainly from abdominal aorta through celiac artery. The lesser curvature of stomach is supplied through the left gastric artery, and the greater curvature is supplied through the right gastric artery and short gastric arteries. Stomach has two sphincters: inferior esophagus sphincter, which prevents the food from going back from stomach to the esophagus, and pyloric sphincter, which controls the movement of food from stomach to the duodenum. The main function of stomach is the storage of food, and only partial digestion takes place.
I am first year medical student studying in Osh. Today I will explain trigeminal nerve, which is the largest cranial nerve. It consists of three divisions, two of which are purely sensory, and the third one, which is the largest one, is a mixed nerve. First is ophthalmic division. It has three terminal branches. First is a frontal nerve, and which gives supraorbital and supratrochlear nerve, and next is nasociliary, which gives anterior ethmoidal and posterior ethmoidal and long ciliary nerve. Next is lacrimal nerve, which gives sensory fibers to the lacrimal gland. Ophthalmic division passes through the supraorbital fissure. Next is maxillary division. It is also a sensory division. It gives sensory fibers to the infraorbital nerve and skin and the lateral part of nose and the upper lip. It passes through the foramen rotundum. Next is mandibular division, which is the largest division. It gives further branches, which are first buccal nerve, which gives to the buccal cavity. Next is lingual nerve, which gives to the anterior general sensations to the anterior 1/3 of the tongue. And next is infraalveolar nerve, which gives innervation to the lower lip and mental for the skin of the chin. And next is mylohyoid nerve, and the next one is the digastric nerve. It passes through the foramen ovale.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Aliza San. I am the first year medical student studying in the Osh. Today I am going to explain the basal nuclei, which is mostly called as basal ganglia. Basal ganglia is subcortical intracellular masses of the grey matter, which plays important role in the extrapyramidal functions. extrapyramidal system. It consists of the gray matter which lies in the telencephalon, diencephalon, as well as in the mesencephalon. In the telencephalon, it consists of the caudate nucleus and the lentiform nucleus. Caudate nucleus is C-shaped nucleus which is consists of head, neck, body and tail. At the tail, it has the amygdaloid body which is the part of limbic system. While the lentiform nucleus is subdivided into two parts, globus pallidus and putamen. Putamen is the outer part, while the globus pallidus is the inner part. Globus pallidus is again subdivided into two parts, globus pallidus externus and globus pallidus internus. Along with these nuclei, there are also lies some other structures which are also present near to the basal ganglia. These include the external capsule, colostrum and extreme capsule. While in the diencephalon, the subthalamus nucleus is the part of the basal nuclei. In the mesencephalon, the largest nuclei, which is called as substantia nigra, is also playing important role in the basal nuclei. Substantia nigra consists of the two parts. The darker part is called as pars compactus, while the lighter part is called as pars reticularis. The basal nuclei consist of the two pathways, the direct pathways and indirect pathways. Direct pathway and indirect pathway both work according to disinhibition mechanism. Direct pathway help us in those functions which we require to initiate, and also help in those functions which are appropriate, those movements which are appropriate and adequate. While the indirect pathway helps us to inhibit those movements which are inappropriate. The direct pathway starts from the sensory and motor areas, and from the sensory motor areas, the glutamate excitatory neurotransmitter goes to the putamen and as well as caudate nucleus. From the caudate nucleus and putamen, the fibers go to the GABA fibers. GABA fiber goes to the globus pallidus internus. From the globus pallidus internus, the fibers which are in small number goes to the ventrolateral nucleus of the thalamus. From the ventrolateral nucleus of the thalamus, the fibers which are glutamate fibers and also called as excitatory fibers goes via the internal capsule which lies in the caudate nucleus concavity. And from the via internal capsule, these fibers go to the supplementary motor area and help us in those functions which are also required and adequate. While the indirect pathways consist of the same pathway in the starting from the sensory and motor areas, it starts and go to the putamen and next also to the caudate nucleus. From the putamen and also caudate nucleus, the GABA, which is inhibitory fibers, go to the globus pallidus externus. Unlike the direct pathway in which these go to the globus pallidus internus. From the globus pallidus externus, the fibers go to the subthalamus, which is also GABA fibers. As these are in large number, then the subthalamus will give small number of the glutamate fibers which go to the globus pallidus internus. And from the globus pallidus internus, the fibers which are in larger number, inhibitory fibers, GABA, go to the supplementary motor areas, and thus it prevents those our movement which are not required or inhibited. The internal capsule is a structure which is present in the concavity of the caudate nucleus, and it consists of the sensory as well as motor projection fibers.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Muhammad Usman Ali. I am student of Ocean International Medical University. Today I am going to represent the topic which is venous drainage of upper limb. Venous system of upper limb drains deoxygenated blood from arm, forearm and hand. It can be subdivided into superficial system and deep system. Superficial veins. The major superficial vein of upper limb are cephalic and basilic vein. They are located within the subcutaneous tissue of upper limb. Basilic originates from dorsal venous network of hand and medial aspect of upper limb. At border of teres, major vein moves deep into the arm. Cephalic vein arise from dorsal venous network of hand. Cephalic and basilic veins are connected at the point which is medial cubital vein.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Shahroz Tariq.
I am a first year medical student. Today my topic is structure of neuron. The structure of neuron, there are two parts, the cell body and the axon part. The cell body consists of cytoplasm and dendrites. Cytoplasm contains also a nucleus. In the axon part, there are Schwann cells which are covered by myelin sheath. In the Schwann cells, there is a gap between them which is called as node of Ranvier. From the node of Ranvier, an impulse can pass easily. At the end, neuron consists of axon terminal
अस्सलाम
buttons.
वालेकुम, मेरा
Thank
नाम
you.
समद है और मैं ओश IMU का स्टूडेंट हूँ। आज का जो मेरा टॉपिक है वो है हार्ट। हार्ट जो है हमारे इंसानी जिस्म का मेन ऑर्गन है जो ब्लड सप्लाई करता है ऑल बॉडी में, ठीक है। और जो हार्ट में जो ब्लड आता है वो सुपीरियर वेना केवा के ज़रिए डीऑक्सीजनेटेड ब्लड आता है और वो डीऑक्सीजनेटेड ब्लड जाता है राइट एट्रियम में। राइट एट्रियम में होते हैं ट्राइकस्पेड, ठीक है। ट्राइकस्पेड एक वाल्व होता है जो गेट लाइक स्ट्रक्चर होता है, ठीक है, जिसका तो वो जाता है, वो उसके नीचे होता है राइट वेंट्रिकल। राइट वेंट्रिकल जब ब्लड ट्राइकस्पेड के जरिए राइट वेंट्रिकल में जाता है तो वो जब राइट वेंट्रिकल फुल हो जाता है तो वो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट जब कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करता है तो उसके थ्रू ब्लड जाता है पल्मोनरी वॉल्व के थ्रू जाता है पल्मोनरी ट्रंक में। पल्मोनरी ट्रंक से फिर दो ब्रांचें निकलती है, दो ब्रांचें, एक राइट पल्मोनरी आर्टरी होती है, वेन होती है, और दूसरी लेफ्ट पल्मोनरी आर्टरी होती है, ठीक है। जो इधर और वो लंग्स होते हैं, लंग्स में जो ब्लड जाता है वो ब्लड ऑक्सीजन कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड छोड़ता है और ऑक्सीजन वापस लेता है। वो जो ऑक्सीजन होता है वो पल्मोनरी वेन के थ्रू लेफ्ट एट्रियम में जाता है। लेफ्ट एट्रियम से फिर वही कि बाइकस्पेड वॉल्व होते हैं, बाइकस्पेड वो भी एक गेट लाइक स्ट्रक्चर होते हैं, ठीक है। वो उधर से फिर
Hi, my name is Gonzali and I am a student of first year OSH IMU, and today we are going to discuss briefly about stomach.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Mohammad Umair Singh. I am a medical student in OSH. Today I am going to explain the anatomic structure of stomach. Stomach basically has four anatomical divisions. The first part is cardiac sphincter, which prevent backflow of food particles from stomach to esophagus. Just below the cardiac sphincter there is a fundus, and below the fundus there is body, and below the body there is another sphincter which is known as pyloric sphincter, which prevent backflow of food particles from duodenum to stomach. The main function of stomach is digestion of food.
My name is Hunayn Zakir and I am the student of OSH International Medical University. Today we discuss about the topic male reproductive system. The male reproductive system consists of penis and the testes. The testes lie outside from the body and covered with scrotum. Because primary spermatocytes are formed in the testes, and they lie in the low temperature than the other body temperature. Testes epididymis runs upward from the testes and vas deferens seminal vesicle. Then vas deferens and seminal vesicle attach enter and form the ejaculatory duct. Ejaculatory duct where below the ejaculatory duct there is a prostate gland, and then urethra. The urethra lie in the prostate gland is called prostatic urethra. The urethra in the male is larger than the female. The length of urethra in male is 20 centimeter and in female is only 4 centimeter. The elimination of the urine process from the body is called micturition. And the interesting thing in micturition is the male micturate our standing position, while a female does not micturate in the standing position, because behind this two reasons. Because females have a small urethra, only 4 centimeter, and in the male urethra is long, 20 centimeter curvature of the urethra due to male micturate in the standing position and female lower.
My name is Fahad Ahmed and I am the student of OSH IMU. Today's my topic is stomach. Stomach के बारे में आज हम पढ़ेंगे. Stomach को हमने ये जो है ना पोस्टीरियर से बनाया है, ये इंटीरियर से बनाया है. पोस्टीरियर में स्टमक को हमने 4 हिस्सों में डिवाइड किया है. स्टमक का पहला जो है ना फंडस है, कार्डिया है, बॉडी है, और ये है हमारे पास एंट्रम. तो स्टमक की एप्लीकेशन की अगर हम बात करें तो स्टमक जो है ना वो एपिग्लोटस से नीचे और स्मॉल इंटेस्टाइन डुओडेनम से ऊपर है. अब एपिग्लोटस जहाँ ओपन होता है स्टमक के लिए तो उसको हम क्या कहते हैं, कार्डियक स्फिंक्टर कहते हैं. और ये जो डुओडेनम में स्टमक ओपन होता है उस पॉइंट को हम क्या कहते हैं, उसको हम पाइलोरिक स्फिंक्टर कहते हैं. अब स्टमक की अगर हम साइज शेप की बात करें तो वो जब स्टमक एम्प्टी हो तो वो जे शेप होती है. अब शेप के बाद हमारे पास आता है कि स्टमक की वेट कितनी है. तो ये मेल और फीमेल में सेपरेट होते हैं. मतलब मेल में एक तरह के वेट होती है इसकी और फीमेल में दूसरी तरह की. फॉर एग्जांपल हम देख ले तो मेल में इसकी वेट होती है 160 ग्राम एंड फीमेल में होती है 150 ग्राम. अब स्टमक के इंटरनल में हम देख ले तो स्टमक के इंटरनल में हमारे पास मसल्स मौजूद होते हैं. 3 टाइप ऑफ मसल्स हमारे पास होते हैं. एक होता है ओब्लिक मसल. ओब्लिक मसल होता है, ये तीनों टाइप के मसल हमारे पास वो डाइजेशन में हेल्प करते हैं. अब सब ओब्लिक मसल है. ओब्लिक मतलब एक तो होता है हॉरिजॉन्टल, एक होता है वर्टिकल. वर्टिकल सीधा, हॉरिजॉन्टल इस तरह का होता है, तो ओब्लिक ये इस तरह का होता है. तो ये हम अगर डायग्राम में देख ले तो इसी तरह के मसल्स हमारे स्टमक में होते हैं. इसके बाद है सर्कुलर मसल. सर्कुलर मसल इसी तरह के सर्कल फॉर्म में होते हैं. और इसके अलावा हमारे पास लॉन्गिट्यूडनल मसल्स होते हैं जो कि वो इस तरह के बने हुए होते हैं. अब अगर हम देख ले तो और इसके अलावा हमारे पास स्टमक में होते हैं 4 लेयर्स. स्टमक के 4 लेयर्स होते हैं. इस 4 लेयर्स, एक है म्यूकोसा, दूसरा है सब म्यूकोसा, तीसरा है मस्कुलरिस, चौथा होता है सब सिरोसा एंड फिफ्थ जो होता है सिरोसा होता है, जो कि वो हमने एक्सप्लेन कर दिया. अब इसके अलावा हमारे पास होता है एक है लेसर कर्वेचर, दूसरा है ग्रेटर कर्वेचर. ग्रेटर कर्वेचर इसी साइड पे होता है और लेसर कर्वेचर इसी साइड पे हमारे पास स्टमक में मौजूद होता है. तो ये